Tell me about the sympathetic days to Diddy. What does that look like when you have a moment of feeling bad for the guy?
It wasn't all bad, but I don't know that any of the good was real.
Former Danity Kane singer Aubrey O'Day breaking her silence amid Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking and racketeering trial, revealing she is not going to testify.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if your name is Aubrey O'Day, we need to talk about, because as much as Aubrey says she hates Diddy, Aubrey's been moving real weird. She was one of the main people saying that she was going to testify against Diddy. Then the last second, she wasn't. She was the main person said that she had receipts to expose Diddy, but she never even gave them. And if she's not testifying, she could actually give those receipts. Okay? And now, part of me is like, I gotta ask, is Aubrey actually helping Diddy? Because by posting that messy podcast with Q from Day 26 about Dawn, I gotta think Aubrey didn't just help Diddy, whether she meant to or not. Now get this. Here's Q's accusations. If you guys don't know, Q and Dawn were sweethearts from making of the band. They had a really, really tight situation. Diddy always had some little crush on Dawn, but even if then, you know Diddy hates functional relationships. So I 100% believe that Diddy was doing things to ruin and sour that relationship and probably see if he can get Q in bed, but that's just my opinion, right? But these are Q's accusations against Dawn. He literally made a bunch of Instagram posts, and it started from Dawn egging Q on to say negative Aubrey's egging Q on to say negative things about Dawn. But you got to ask yourself, why did she do that? In the middle of a federal case, when Dawn's credibility has already been attacked, why in the world would you do this? So Dawn, this is what his accusations. Dawn allegedly slipped Q a horse tranquilizer under the guise of ecstasy. She claimed the bill came from Diddy, from her boss. The strong implication is that was Diddy. Q describes terrifying symptoms, hallucinations, confusion, memory loss, regression. He believes it was part of a ritual or manipulation tactic designed to break him mentally and emotionally. Dawn allegedly took none of the pills herself. Q says it felt like he was experimented on, calling it a twisted trial. He accuses Dawn of exploiting his trust and believes the drugging incident was orchestrated for control. He shares that Dawn was involved with Diddy's security guard behind his back. He saw explicit emails between the two referencing hooking up, smoking, and getting intimate in the Le Montrose Hotel in LA. He says he was being played by older people who saw him as naive and easy to manipulate. He reflects on the pain as a refiner, not a destroyer, and says healing was a choice. But let's get into it. Because Dawn was messy for that. And I think I believe it 100% happened. But Aubrey, we got to talk about how she is moving messy. And Diddy might have just been handed a golden ticket by Aubrey. Okay? So again, y'all saw how Diddy, Q, blew the lid off of the old wound, accusing Dawn of slipping him the rugs and sending him into full psychosis. And the timing is suspect because Dawn just testified against Diddy. Coincidence? I don't think it's likely. Now, let's add some layers. According to Q, this wasn't some party gone wrong. He says she handed him the horse tranquilizer, claiming it came from her boss. Again, you read that right. Diddy. Now, we're not naming names, but we just did. And if you've been following the case, you know exactly who that's pointing to. Q says he trusted her, he loved her, and he got played. Isn't this the same verbiage they used about Diddy? She played Kid Cudi. Again, the evil woman. He describes waking up in a haze, sobbing, hallucinating, having to relearn how to function. He claims he was psychologically broken and that his vulnerability was used against him in what felt like ritual or punishment. And here's when things get nasty. Aubrey, yes, that Aubrey, had Q on her podcast this week while the federal case against Diddy is still active. And what did she do? She poked, she pressured, she tried to get Q to name Dawn as the one who rugged him on air. Why now? Why not wait until the trial's over? Why create a soundbite that can be twisted into reasonable doubt? Let's not forget, Aubrey, again, I gotta remind you, once claimed she was going to be a key witness. She said that she had all the receipts. She said that she had a smoking gun, but suddenly she's not testifying, not because she wasn't willing, because the prosecution didn't even ask her. So instead of keeping quiet like any self-respecting key witness would, Aubrey's out here broadcasting in the middle of a legal war, essentially discrediting another witness who did show up to testify. The irony, Dawn is the only Danity Kane member Diddy kept around. Aubrey has always said she hates Diddy. But maybe she hates Dawn a little more because deep down, maybe it wasn't just Diddy who rejected her. Maybe it stings more that Dawn got the call. Dawn got the stolen deal. Dawn got to stay. Now, cut to with this mess that Aubrey literally kept going. Okay, we can't forget that. So now, where are we? Okay. Now, Q and Dawn are airing it out on social media. Now, Dawn clapped back, basically saying, now of all times, you're dragging me while I'm testifying against a predator. And honestly, Dawn has a point. This isn't about absolving Dawn. She's got some serious accountability to face, but Aubrey's timing, her motives, her silence when it's time to speak, followed by noise that could sabotage others, that's not justice, that's ego. And Diddy, he's watching this all go down, probably smiling, because instead of solidarity, the survivors are eating each other alive on the timeline. But I gotta ask you guys, what do you think is really going on behind the scenes? Okay? Why is the only woman out of that whole era of making the band, the only woman who showed up to testify, getting thrown under the bus by the one who said she would? This isn't justice, you guys. In my opinion, this is sabotage. And we need to start asking, who are people really working for and what are they really loyal to? Again, I'm not going to let this go. Aubrey has been one of the biggest people on Miss Twitter and when my time to shine, leading everybody to believe she's going to testify, doing all this stuff. I said a long time ago, I thought that Aubrey took a payoff because she went from saying she has all these receipts to not saying anything at all. Now, some people said that's crazy. There's no way she would take a payoff. And I'm like, what's wrong with taking a payoff? That doesn't mean you didn't suffer. It doesn't mean you're not a victim. It means you got compensated for your time. And we all know that Aubrey is about her money. But also when you add in the fact of she's choosing now to do it, and they're using the same narrative they used to discuss Cassie, they played me both. She was cheating. She's not a good person. Honestly, let's think about it. You expect us to believe, and even Q was not saying that, he said that Dawn gave him the pill, but she wasn't saying that he thinks that it was hers. Dawn wasn't on any horse tranquilizers, and I do think that Diddy probably did have Dawn moving grimy. Everybody in that era had to move grimy to satisfy Diddy's needs. And again, Dawn needs to be held accountable. But why is Aubrey doing this now? No one's giving me a firm answer for why Aubrey's doing this now. It's giving sick. It's giving demented. It's giving, are you serious? And it's giving, at this point, Diddy is fighting for his life. And we know he got at least $50 million in his bank account. And he's still got connections, and he's still got people that are willing to make a deal. Again, do y'all think this is just Aubrey's jealousy of Dawn? But again, you were the one that said you were going to testify. You didn't. Dawn got to testify. Dawn was the one that filed the lawsuit. Dawn's the one that actually is trying to hold Diddy accountable. And all we have with Aubrey is a few random tweets, a few random promises, a few random interviews, but no actual action. And the time she really does take action is to start mess and literally assail, is that even a word? Destroy Dawn's credibility worse than it's already been destroyed. Again, I don't care if you're an Aubrey fan or not. Whose side is she really on? And what is it? And if this isn't her being paid off and doing Diddy's bidding, then why is she letting her ego or jealousy or contempt of Dawn being the one that made it and the one that Diddy took from making the band, even though we see she was just transported into bigger horror and was just used and abused just as much? But again, maybe I'm tripping. What do y'all think? I think Aubrey is dead wrong for this. I think it's disgusting. And from now on, I'm going to start looking at Aubrey sideways, because at the end of the day, she's been all talk and no action. And the one thing she did take action on is trying to destroy Dawn. At the one time, this whole podcast could have waited 6 weeks. It could have waited until the jury trial. It could have waited until the jury had brought back its burden. The fact that she chose to drop it now, yeah, that's saying something. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all guys later. All right, I'll see y'all at the courthouse bright and early Tuesday. Bye.